Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Victor. This is Jack. Let's talk sphere of influence.
Okay. Well, I was having a conversation recently and with somebody who I really like his thinking, and he hasn't seen our earlier videos, but he's seen the later ones.
Okay.
And he was saying, so when you talk about non-intervention, what do you really mean? Like nothing? Like absolutely nothing? And so what's your answer to that? Nothing? Absolutely nothing? We did a whole video on this, so I don't want to go into this too far, but like...
Well, I mean, it would be great if you didn't have to, but I feel like maybe there is a line at some point. I don't know what the line is.
Right. So like what if your next door neighbor is selling their entire country to China? Mexico selling Mexico to China.
Right. Not great. I think of like the Bay of Pigs and Cuba. Like that seems reasonable to me. Like Soviets putting nukes off of our coast.
Right. So you're saying it's reasonable Russia invades Ukraine because NATO's getting too close? No, I'm just kidding. Because those missiles are way closer.
Right. Oh, no. Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know.
Well, plus they have the promise that they weren't ever going to expand. And
okay, I'm not sure if that's true.
Oh.
I think that's a little bit more. We're not going into that now. I would really want to look that up. But basically, what I'm saying here, what if there was a beautiful ideology in place that prevented all of this stuff?
Okay.
Oh, that's how the world was. Go back to pre-World War II, and we had it all fixed.
Okay.
Because people who are much more smarter and advanced than the people today had just figured it out.
Okay.
We need a pattern. And the pattern was called spheres of influence. If you're a great power, you have a sphere of influence. If you're not a great power, you're in a great power sphere of influence. You know?
Okay.
And whether somebody's a great power, it was just acknowledged. Like if you say, well, China, what about China? Obviously, they're a great power. You know? What about South Africa? Obviously not.
Well, today.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're the worst country ever. They couldn't be trusted to keep the nukes. They had to give away the nukes because, you know what I mean? Anyways, it's just pretty obvious who is and who isn't. And so basically it's like if something's happening in your sphere of influence, you have a duty now.
Okay.
It's your business.
It's like your backyard.
It's like your backyard. So the United States had the Monroe Doctrine, right?
Okay.
And the Monroe Doctrine was a non-intervention strategy. I'm just going to make that claim myself, right? But it said our sphere of influence is North and South America. You don't come over here and do anything. You could do business deals or whatever. You know what I mean? You could do trade agreements, but don't move on any of these places. No special ops, no coups, no military invasions, no military bases, et cetera, you know? And we won't come and mess with Europe. Even if you guys have a whole world war or two. Of course, you know what I mean?
Didn't work out.
Yeah, we got duped. Same thing, Africa's not our business. China, Taiwan's not our business. Tibet's not our business. South Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, just all the places we fought at, Syria, Yemen, Libya, like just go through the list. None of this is our business, right? And then imagine whatever our sphere of influences is, what if our neighboring country is going through like a revolutionary time? What if there's an election and this election is not fair? What if we go in and we monitor the election and we redo it, you know, and we just watch, you know?
Right, just make sure it's fair.
To give confidence, you know? Or they change from a paper to et cetera, you know? But there's things you could do to help your region. Like if your region has say Brazil has an enormous earthquake and needs humanitarian aid. Well, if we want to, it's our business to go help them. Their neighbors will probably help them too. But it's not really China's business to move an aircraft carrier down there so you can helos. No, let's not do that, China, right? And when it happens in Taiwan or Laos, you know, China, that's your business.
Right.
Anyways, this is just a simple system that was used. And when a conflict came between great powers, they would have a conference, and they would go to the conference, and the great powers involved would all sit there and try to figure a solution. These were not enforceable to conferences; they were voluntary.
Okay,
you know, and if two lesser powers from different greater power spheres had a problem, then the two great powers would have a conference with or without, with the lesser powers, depending on, you know. And then the only problem with the system is when the sphere of influence is disputed.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what if China says Russia's in Asia? Well, Russia's a great power too. What if they say India is in Asia. But that's the subcontinent of India, like kind of no, that shouldn't be China's, but then they want to push their influence further, and then it causes war. But when it does cause war, it's very clear, So like, for example, Ukraine is obviously in Russia's sphere of influence. It's obvious, So then when the other people say, hey, we got a problem here, like we want to move NATO in, clearly you're in violation here.
You being NATO.
NATO is in violation because I've said sphere of influence for 27 and a half years. And now you're saying nobody's going to buy it. You just want war. What is a battle then? Because if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you just want to say, hey, let's go outside and have a fight, let's do it then. Like whatever it is what it is, And so what do you think about this? This is an idea I'm pitching, sorry, my voice is cracking, but I'm not pitching it for this system. This system's trash. I'm pitching it for a future system that can be used as a non-intervention strategy where intervention is still used, but it's very limited.
And just within your sphere. So you're saying going back to that.
Going back to when people were smarter than they are today. Right.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems very reasonable. It's, it's almost like not a family, but it's like the big brother's looking after the little brother, and you don't mess with my little brother because, then we're going to have a problem. It's almost that kind of dynamic. And, I mean, it seems reasonable.
I was even thinking, like, we just unilaterally declared the Monroe Doctrine.
Okay.
Children of South America, you are, the little governments. But imagine it was on a voluntary basis, right? Imagine you have a good country in the United States, and they've cut interest, and they're doing the home stuff, and just all the stuff, and it's a wonderful, best place to live on the planet. And then you're like, everybody around us, do you want to be our little brothers or not? And then Mexico's like, yeah, you know what I mean? And then maybe Guatemala says no. Maybe Bolivia says, hey, we're doing good with no military because they used to have no military. I don't know if they do that. This is like the only country in the world. I don't know if they still do that nowadays. That was back when I was in college. But we just want to stay out of everything. Okay, cool. Then you're not a little brother. That's fine. You know what I mean?
Okay. And then they're just, Russia or whoever is free just to do what they want with Guatemala? Okay.
But they're not in anybody else's sphere of influence. If China wants to take them under their wing, it's kind of silly, though. Everybody's going to go on board.
It seems like it.
If they believed that this government was actually good.
Right.
And it wasn't a 4D chess psyop where the same old guys are running the new thing, but they look like us and they're saying that they're doing no interest. In 10 years, we'll have no interest, promise, or something like that, But it would be a terrific system, right?
It seems like it. And I mean, there isn't no downside, I feel like. There isn't one country having to be world police and everyone's just minding their own business.
Yeah, and so it's not profitable to be the big brother, but it's something that you do because you have that power. So if I was the supreme leader of the United States and we reinstated the Monroe Doctrine, so we got North and South America, imagine Brazil's just hitting it off. They're just doing great. And all of a sudden it's like, that's a full first world country. And then we sit down and talk with Brazil. Do you want to be big brother?
Right.
To your
South
brothers?
America?
Yeah.
Totally.
And then say Central, we'll both be kind of share big brother and we'll help out. You know what I'm saying? We'll cover Mexico and Canada or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. What do you know why? Like, what was the point where that Monroe Doctrine disappeared or was no longer used?
I mean, I would say if I tell you, if you come into my house, I'm going to fight you. If you break in my house, I'm going to fight you. That's all I'm going to do, just fisticuffs, okay? So you break in my house, spit on me, grab my TV, and walk out the door, Okay. And then I tell you, listen, that's World War I. We promise we won't. We're out. America, trust us. We're the government. Trust us. We won't send your sons over there to die in a draft. Oh, it's draft time. Do it. And then you promise again, like, don't come. I'll fight. And you come in, spit on me, take my wife or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it loses all valuable. The Monroe Doctrine. We get involved in everything.
Okay.
So it fades. It's like, is it on the books?
So
they might have repealed it, might not have, but it just doesn't matter because we just do all the wars.
So it's us getting involved in all the wars.
Right.
Watered down the whole idea and the faith in it. Okay.
And then everybody just gave up on non-interventionism. We have to police the entire world because communism, terrorism, go down the list.
Right.
Climate change, AI, alien invasions. They're going to always be things that they're going to try to get you. And just the answer is no.
Interesting. So imagine the U.S. was actually a good guy again, or maybe for the first time, I don't know.
Yeah.
And wanted to reinstate this, would the rest of the world just go with it, or would they still be stuck in the current philosophy? I don't know. There's no one world policing anymore if we're not doing it, right?
Right. I think that would just upend the world politics. It would just upend everything because there's going to be a vacuum. So as as Ramstein Air Force Base is being everything looted, taken off, and brought back, and then the rest is just sold, to the Germans, as like certain places we would have to extricate ourselves slowly from.
Sure.
But it would be like a power vacuum, and then the Europeans would be like, our militaries are terrible. They did German tanks with the exercise, but they didn't have a machine gun, so they painted a broomstick black and stuck it in. They did a special operations joint helicopter thing.
Okay.
And so then they rolled up and be like, das is good, we're ready, And then they looked at the logs and said, you need maintenance on these choppers in less amount of time than you need to fly. Like if this is going to take 4 hours of flying, you're due for maintenance in 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
You're not allowed to participate. This is the military there.
Wow.
So then they would have to step it up. You know what I mean?
Okay, and commit to their own policing and okay.
Right. And in some places like where we're by treaty. So Japan, we've given Japan a promise.
Right.
But the promise of traitors who've run the government before us is not a valid promise, but we still can't.
You can't leave them hanging.
We cannot be dishonorable.
Totally.
So we sit down and we say, how many years do you need for us to phase out?
And for you to have your own military.
You have your own military. Right. Because if you tell us we're ready now, we got a secret program, cool.
Yeah.
We're gone. Good for you for having a
luck.
secret program. You know what I mean? If they need 50 years, then that's unreasonable.
Okay, so then, like in the power vacuum scenario in Europe, like what's to stop Russia from just coming in and making USSR V2 or something with Europe? You know what I mean? Because there's no one there to stop them now.
Okay. If they want to do that, it's natural selection, baby.
Oh wow.
I mean, honestly, it's like it's up to them,
Okay.
They know it's not their sphere of influence when they get to Central Europe. Like we can argue about Eastern Europe, right?
Yeah.
But let's say Central and Western Europe is none of your business. Are they going to form a coalition? Can they stop them? If not, you've been betrayed by your governments. Then Russia will get out their bad governments, at least, that didn't even defend them because they counted on U.S.,
Okay. So, not to get too controversial, but is there a line where you're like, those are my people on the other side of the planet, but they're still my people? Do we help them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, I understand. I just don't think this is a very relevant question.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like, saying, I'm just going to make up some just nonsense here. Say Nigeria is going to launch a full-scale invasion of Romania.
Okay.
I'm European descent. Do we now wipe Nigeria off the map to protect Romania? Romania, figure it out. Who's your greater power near you? What kind of resources do you have? What defenses do you have? Now, obviously, Nigeria would never invade Romania. But I'm just saying.
Okay, but I mean, take someone more from the region or someone who has... I mean, even Russia. Isn't Russia and European... Those are two different peoples, right?
No.
Oh, it's all the same...
Russians are white people.
No, but I thought there was like...
No, the confusion is that they're called... Russia is in Asia.
Okay.
So you could literally say, those Asians... What Asians? Oh, the Russians. Okay.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Because the Europeans came from Russia.
Gotcha.
Russia is their homeland.
Okay.
There was the womb of nations, and it was like this huge lake, and it flooded, and all these people just dispersed. The Goths, the Visigoths, the Lombards, and they went to all these different regions in Europe, but a lot of them stayed there too.
Gotcha. Okay, let's just go back to the Nigeria one or whatever.
Okay.
I'm not saying wipe Nigeria off the face of the earth, but do you help Romania defend themselves if they are unable to?
I'm sorry, it's their business.
Interesting. Okay.
You have the same skin color as me, but it's your business.
Okay.
Because see, I know where you're going with that. I appreciate the tough question. But if a country like England said, listen, we're both white, right? You're doing good U.S. We're both white people. How about you just give us these advantageous deals, right?
Okay.
And then I've got Libya over there just rocking it. They're doing no interest, no this and that. What is England doing? They're doing censorship, this and that. I prefer to work with the Libyans than.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because ideology is more important.
Okay.
In this instance, this is why it's a tough question.
Right.
In this instance, ideology is more important.
Okay. You want to? Okay. Interesting. A lot of different things to think
If you're talking about a genocide of 6, no, I'm not going to go there.
No, I mean, I was thinking that's where the history of your people is from Europe, and is it worth losing all that theoretically?
Yeah, I do see what you mean, but I don't care. I mean, I care. I love my culture. I love it. But if you're like, France has got this new censorship program going down, and now they're under attack.
Okay. So what if they had the right ideology? Then you'd be more.
That goes back to our intervention video. And you're just going to quagmire me. You're going to quagmire me.
Okay.
What I would do in that instance is say use the example. Romania's got our values. Mm-hmm. Their great power is Germany in this instance, we'll say. Germany does not have our values. Nigeria is now attacking Romania.
Okay.
Germany's going to let them go because they have our values.
Okay.
It's not our sphere of influence. In my opinion, I would go and make a strong effort to diplomatically persuade Germany, maybe through a trade deal, this and that, to do the right thing and help these people.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Try to figure a solution. Is it boots on the ground? No. Is it special forces? No. Is bombs?
Gotcha.
No.
Okay.
And even if you say, I want to go convince Germany, like, nuke them, it's still up to Germany.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Because
now I can't say pay you to nuke them.
Right.
Because then I'm just doing it,
Right.
And that's intervention.
Okay.
I would say. Reasonable?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And I'm not claiming that this is perfect.
Right.
I'm claiming that it's so incredibly superior
to current day.
Yeah,
Yes.
just the list of countries that we bombed in my lifetime, just my lifetime.
Just in the last decade.
It's obscene. It's insane. The civilian casualty, it's insane. And in all of those countries, how many should have been in the United States sphere of influence?
Probably zero.
Yeah. The only thing we do in our sphere of influence is just coup on all the South American governments so we can bring in terrible people. Yeah. It's America, democracy.
Freedom.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So this is kind of going all over the place. I think it's my questionable questions. Anyway, let us know what you think. Do you have any input on this? Do we have it right? Do you have a better idea? Like, is there some other way to not be policing the world, but kind of keep things working? Love to hear your thoughts on this, and hopefully we'll see you next time.